Hello everyone. We already have an idea about the variable shape and size of bacterium. The size of bacterium ranges from 1 micrometer to 10 micrometer in length and around zero point 0.7 micrometer to 1.5 micrometer in width. The size of smallest bacterium is not more than zero point 0.1 micrometer, while the largest bacterium, the size ranges from 450 micrometer to 500 micrometer. Now, what is micrometer? Micrometer is equivalent to 0.001 millimeter, and there are also few bacterium whose size is around 16 to 45 micrometer in diameter, which is almost several centimeters. So the variation is very vivid for the size of the bacterium, but also about the shape there is the similar phenomena. When we look up to the shape of the bacterium, it is most of the times constant according to the environmental condition in which the bacterium is present, but sometimes there is variation in the shape which we can see in the bacterium, and that condition is known as pleuromorphic form of bacterium. Pleuro means many, and morphic means morphology. So when the shape, when there is variable shapes present for a single bacterium in different environmental conditions, we call that condition as pleuromorphic form of bacteria. Or just if a bacteria has many forms, we call it as pleuromorphic bacterium. When we study the classification of bacterium, the bacteria are classified on the basis of their shape. So first type is the coccus bacterium. In coccus bacterium, we see that they are spherical, elliptical, or ovoid kind of globular structures. Now, micrococcus is the form when they are formed present in just one globular condition, or we can just call it as monococcus. When two of them they are placed together, it is diplococcus condition. In tetracoccus condition, four of them they are placed together. Sometimes they form chains, and that condition is known as streptococcus, but other times they form just globular masses, irregular shaped globular masses, and this condition is the staphylococcus condition. Other times you will see them being arranged in a cubical form, and when they are arranged in a cubical condition, we say that they are in sarcina form. In this sarcina form, eight of the globular coccus bacterium they are arranged together to form 3D form of a cube. This is about the sarcina. So with this idea, at least you have little idea about the coccus bacterium. Next is about the bacillus. Bacillus are rod-shaped bacterium, and when we say that they are rod-shaped, it means they are either cylindrical or sometimes just straight. The end walls of these may be pointed at times or sometimes flat or concave. Here one side I have shown pointed, this pointed portion, and other places it can be just, you can see, very well curved or concave in shape. The bacillus bacterium, they may occur in single form, like just one of them, the way over here they are arranged, or at times they are two of them are together. So diplobacillus, palisade bacillus, they will be arranged one after another in a stacked form. If they are arranged in this way, they are known as palisade. Whereas for the bacterium, again streptobacillus condition is the type of chain formation in the bacillum, in the bacillus bacteria. Now, the spirillum, the spirillum bacteria is as such that it has uh, a presence of S-shaped structure. This is actually, I just tried to make the bacillus one. Now let's look up to the spirillum bacterium. How do the spirally arranged bacterium look like? You can make them in a very simple this kind of form. Just make a S shaped structure. Sometimes they have multiple or long structures. So this is also one of the forms with multiple filaments. The spiral bacterium is just coiled bacterium, like a corkscrew. Corkscrew, the way it is twisted, similar way this one is also twisted bacterium. They usually have rigid and rigid forms and may have two or three flagellum on the body. The example for this bacterium are spirillum or spirochete. So whenever you write the spellings, you must underline it. Spirillum or spirochete is the example of spirillum bacterium. The last one is Vibrio. Not the last one which you already know about is the Vibrio, and it is a comma shaped bacterium. So you make it in either of these two forms. The Vibrio bacterium are at times said to be C bacterium or she shaped bacterium or just a curved bacterium. They all have at least one flagella at one of the poles. So the way over here you can see one of the flagella, but at times you can see more than one flagellum as well. They are if one of the example we talk about, it is just the Vibrio bacteria. You can write Vibrio and underline it. Next type or next categorization of bacteria. This many we have already discussed. So let's just recapitulate this structure. Some of them are Diplococcus, Streptococcus, tetrad form. You can see this tetrad form. Staphylococcus, they are forming globular chains. Here you can see perfect sarcina is shown. You can understand that how they are arranged. Four at one side, four at another side, and forming a 8 cubical box kind of arrangement. Bacillus, they are rod-shaped bacterium. Spirillum bacterium, these are the spirochetes and spirilla shown. Heliobacter pyrrole is example of spiral bacterium. Helicobacter is the one which causes bad smell in our mouth. Vibrio cholerae, this is you are aware which causes cholera. And this is all about some of the bacterium which you already know about. Now let's see some other bacterium or other shapes of bacterium. One of the shape is about filamentous structure. Filamentous bacterium, they have structure somewhat similar to the mycelia. Mycelia of the fungus, if you all can remember, it looks somewhat like this. And some of the bacterium, they look like the mycelia. And the example of this kind of bacterium is Begiota. I should say Begiatoa. Begiatoa is also one of the largest bacterium which whose size is around 500 micrometer. So please remember the name Begiatoa. Begiatoa mirabilis is the name of this big or the most largest bacterium, which is around 500 micrometer large. And one more example, if I want to talk about, is the Thiotrix. So please remember, Begiatoa is the largest bacterium, and Thiotrix is also one of the example of filamentous bacterium. Next type is the stalked bacterium, whose body is like a stalk. So stalk is the structure with which the with which any object is, or any growing object like a plant who is not whose tendrils who have tendrils like the pea plant, it always needs support. So those support stalked are kind of stick kind of organisms or bacterium who act like straw, a wooden stick which will help in growth of other plants. So it's just a stalked condition which is present. Now the example for these kind of bacterium are Colibacter. Here the spelling is wrong. It is Colobacter. It's not I, it's O. So please change the spelling and correct it. Next is the last type, that is the budded type. The bacterium, they have swollen endings at some of the places, and the example is rhodomicrobium. If we see the structure of rhodomicrobium, it looks somewhat this kind of structure is present in this bacterium. Or at times you can see that the bacterium has just one globular swollen area, and then after it forms a stalk where both these areas will be having one of the globular endings. So please remember the structures and the different types of bacterium. And the example, as I have already said, is the rhodomicrobium. Thank you very much. Please write and learn it properly.